everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week I am going to recap my West Coast tour from last year. I'm starting in LA, then because it was a Sunday, I went to Smorgasburg, downtown LA, where we feasted on lobster rolls and artisanal popsicles. I saw that Venice was doing an afterburn, which is kind of like a decompression that happens after Burning Man every year that the event happens, and so we took a trip to the water where we explored and actually found this scavenger hunt in which we participated in. The scavenger hunt made you go around the park and find different clues, and each clue led to another section of the park. And at the end, you were able to unlock a treasure trunk with all the clues that you collected, which were letters that spelled a specific word for the padlock. I ended up taking a lion stuffed animal since I'm a Leo, and Sub-K took a zebra. A photographer passed by and really loved my eyes, and so he took a portrait of me, and the music was starting to get really good when the sun started setting and all the lights came on that gave really distinct neon glow. Art cars were parked and available for viewing as well as photos. This artist called Telopa Treloki had his muse that he was painting there, and he gifted me an Artemis print and sketched a portrait of me on the corner and said that he really liked my look, and that was a really great way to end that day. So last year I went on 7 boat tours. I don't know how or why it happened, but it did. And last year I was able to go to Newport Beach and actually do a 90-minute tour of houses that had histories with famous people living there and well-known entrepreneurs. I got to catch a couple dolphins as well as some sea lions and seagulls that were just basking in the sun.
Get out of water every once in a while like this to warm up, dry off. Oh, falling out. Get up there, dude, and jump right out of the water, right out. Hey, they're not alive. Why can't we speak to a larger than they can? That's not fair.
And I ended the day with a beautiful sunset. Right after that, I had to take a trip to Portland, Oregon, because I was going to tour the Pacific Northwest. I stayed with another friend who I met a couple years ago, and she graciously treated me to my own bedroom as I explored what the city had to offer. I've been to Portland a couple of times previously, but this time I was going to visit a composer that I went to school with, and so I went to dinner with her and her partner, and they treated me to a very wonderful evening. Next stop is Seattle. I have been to Seattle many, many times. I stayed about 5 miles east of downtown. It was really getting chilly since winter was coming, and I made sure to bundle up with all of my necessary layers. I crossed Lake Union and went to go see the troll under the bridge. I ate some local Ethiopian cuisine. I went to go visit the Henry Art Gallery, which usually has a paid admission. However, they were setting up an exhibition and constructing a part of the gallery that they were letting in people for free at this time. So I got to take a sneak peek of what the exhibition was going to look like since I wasn't going to be here when it was complete. I really loved these textured coffins, and it's so in my theme. Since the University of Washington was right there, I decided to take a stroll inside the main building, which had this beautiful Gothic architecture that is reminiscent of medieval cathedrals. If my library had looked like this, I would have studied so much harder. Then I took a walk around the residential areas and really enjoyed the change of leaves. Look at how beautiful and vibrant the orange makes the roads look, and all of this is natural. Isn't nature wonderful? I took a stop by Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee's graves, as I really respect the philosophy behind Wing Chun martial arts, and I really liked Brandon in The Crow while I was growing up, and it is just so tragic that we had to lose them at such an early age. I hope they rest in peace. Then it was time to meet up with a cousin of mine who was living in the city, and I took them to New Seattle, which is a cute cafe by another college. I had a katsu sandwich, and then I went to go take a look at the school that they used to go to. I had another juror reach out to me and asked me if they could take me out for that evening. Since it was the last evening, I decided, why not? They paid for my transport to go to Vendemia, and we shared a burrata salad and oysters for a light snack. And then they really wanted to check out this local band at High Dive Bar, but they had sold out of tickets for that evening. He gave the bouncer a really big tip, and we were in no time. We bonded over with a couple of drinks, and that was a great end to my trip. Next up was San Francisco, my hometown. Last year I was able to upgrade my poor iPhone 6s to an iPhone 11 Pro, thanks to DM. My first day, I ate at Nordstrom in the Westfield in downtown and checked out a rooftop area to get a different glimpse of the city. I had dinner at Zazie, which is a contemporary Parisian-inspired restaurant. The next day, I visited Señor Sisig to fulfill my local Filipino cravings. Since the temperature is very cool in San Francisco, I could actually wear jackets, so I bought a new one, which kind of had some retro vibes. One of my favorite places to visit is the Ferry Building in the Embarcadero, and there used to be a restaurant called Houston's there, but I guess it's now called Hillstone Restaurant, and the ribs are amazing. So is their ice cream sundaes. What a decadent way to lunch during the day. The Conservatory of Flowers was having a nighttime event where you could go in and check out their flowers while everything is lit up with neon lights and projections. I didn't get to go in this time, but I took a look on the outside, and it was beautiful. I had Thanksgiving with my family, and this was my outfit. In addition to having turkey, I had caviar and a crown of lamb chops, which is my kind of Thanksgiving. I went to the SF MoMA, which I haven't been to for years, probably since I was still in high school. They had an exhibition on space. As well as some really interesting pieces that I've never seen before. My mom helped me take photos in the museum because she knows what I do and supports it. I really like these neutral tones that were featured in this room, juxtaposed against these more colorful phases of the moon and natural elements that this person blocked out in their art. wait, there's more. I actually had a couple of friends that were visiting San Francisco for a concert that I was going to go to, and we met up at Zuni Cafe, which had amazing rotisserie chicken that had been roasted for a very long time. We tried to attend some local strip clubs, but they were a little bit of a disaster and quite empty. So we ended up at the Midway where Spangle was going to be playing, and this is the band that I actually saw at Red Rocks in my behind-the-scenes Cocoon video in Colorado earlier that year. As always, the music was amazing, the visuals were stunning, and since the hotel that I stayed in was near the Embarcadero, the next morning I went up the Hilton Hotel to get the view of the very gray Bay Bridge. To close off my tour, for brunch, I went to the Cliff House with my mom and walked around the Sutro Baths area, as well as a little bit of Golden Gate Park, before she drove me to the airport. Then it was back to Los Angeles, where I already had an appointment waiting for me, and I had recommended La Boucherie in downtown LA, where we dined before playing. We each had some greens, followed by 3 different types of Wagyu, and of course, a flaming melted chocolate ball, while overlooking the beautiful lights of the City of Angels. So I hope you guys enjoyed my West Coast tour. It's not as crazy as all my other adventures, but I was still able to fill every single day with purpose as well as interesting things to do. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to turn on notifications so that you know when the next video comes out. Next stop is Hawaii, so stay tuned for that, and as always, be safe.